Hey people, check, check. Share your screen with your audience. What? I've never seen that before. How are you guys? We live. Life is full of surprises, is it not? And changes and the chances that we take. I am here tonight to talk with you guys about the things that we spoke about last night. So I just want to get right into it. First, though, I will show the creepy thumb. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. Just do the regular routine stuff and see if people come on into the chat and let me know if you can hear me. So I've got my mic right here, so it's not on my shirt, but make sure that the sound is good. Please check to see if you're still subscribed. Share the video if you like it, and turn on your notification bell to ring. Okay, enough of all that crap, right? Okay, so last night I was really pleased with that video, you guys. I was not at all planning to get into my own history, and I've shared it with you guys before, and I shared a little bit more, and I felt really good about it. So, one of the reasons why I like to speak about my traumatic incident is because not only does it help me, it helps other people. I know that it inspires other people to maybe talk about their stuff. Maybe they've never spoken about it. And I wanted to share with you guys that when I was a lot younger, before I would speak about it so freely, I was really embarrassed about it. Like, I felt like it said something about me, that anybody would think that my life was so worthless that they would just snuff it out like that, especially not just anybody, but a parent. So for many years, was ashamed of it, feeling like it put a value or a lack of value on my life. And then it was as I learned about victimology and perpetrators that I realized it doesn't really say anything about me. It only speaks to the character of the perp, right? Hey, Sharon, nice to see you. Hello from Iowa. Um, so, it was a little heavy getting into it, but it was completely spontaneous. And I really appreciate you guys. You're great listeners. So thank you. I will do my little disclaimer that everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion where we can all learn together and grow together. And my videos have all been made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. So I did a tiny bit of rearranging back here. I decided to put it's so funny, put the Statue of Liberty into the blue, and then Brando's up there in the not blue. So it's just funny the way the light was hitting Brando last night. So I switched them out. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted by all the scenery and stuff. I know it's cute, but we're here to talk about true crime. Raised from Perdition. Hello, hello. So I wanted to follow up on that personal history some. And I also wanted to speak about the Watts case and Plunder. Her video's back up. And I wanted to talk about Mark Molina's video today, the deception detective, who I have no idea who they even are. So it sounds like it didn't go well. And let's see, there were a couple other things. Oh, the Kansas City, the guy's going into rehab. And that's mostly it. So I really want to speak about Kylie and Lindsay and her lying. She's a lying liar. Hey, Mom First Always. Lovely to see all three of you. Thanks for coming in. So let me finish up with, or start out by finishing up with some of the stuff I spoke about yesterday from when I was 11. And it does make me a little nervous to speak about it just because, it is personal. But like I said, it helps me to speak about it. And I know that it helps other people too. So let's see, a couple of the things that I wanted to share with you are things that I learned way later about the situation. So I learned that my father had been both in communication with his high school sweetheart, who he thought he was going to get back together with. He'd also been in communication with my biological mom, and he was having fantasies that they were going to get back together too. So they both lived in the DC area. We were living in California. He said he got this amazing job offer in Florida that didn't exist, but I don't think we were ever going to find that out. So also, I think there was insurance money involved, but I just wanted to frame it for you guys with motive. Um, and I was telling you how there's weird things that trigger me. For instance, when we got to Florida, we stayed in a travel lodge, the motel with the little like teddy bear that's like sleepwalking with a pajama shirt and a blanket and a hat, pajama cap on. And it's a really cute bear, but that bear is a trigger for me. The travel lodge is a trigger for me because it's the only time in my life that I've ever stayed at a travel lodge was when we got to Florida. And when we got to Florida, the job never existed. It evaporated, but he didn't have like a story for it. And I guess he thought that we were just kids, so he didn't need to have a story. So like it just didn't make sense. And anyway, just little details like that. That's all I'm going to share tonight. So we stayed in Florida. I'll share a little bit more. We stayed in Florida for about a month, and then we went up to DC, and then I guess he was trying to reunite with my mom, and then it was a couple years later that he thought he was going to marry that high school sweetheart. Anyway, yeah, just a whole lot of crazy. And, the thing with the insurance money. When I was 7, when I was in first grade, so I was 6, we lived in San Francisco. And there was a 7-year-old boy in San Francisco whose father poisoned his Halloween candy. And I was very shocked with that news story. And so was my father. But now in hindsight, I can see that my father had some seeds planted with that unfortunate situation in San Francisco. So, interesting that he chose poison as his method because that was what happened there with that other kid. But anyway, let's shift gears. Let's talk about Plunder getting her video back up because that's such a big win, not just for her, but for everyone, for all of us content consumers and all of the content creators and just freedom of speech. So Plunder's video that got struck down by DA Rourke's wife's channel got put back up. Now, DA Rourke's wife's channel, I think she has 2 channels because it seems like there's another channel that has her name on it. I know she has other platforms, but I think she has another YouTube channel. I'll do some more research. Not that I really care, but I do think it's interesting. It's really interesting. I'm going to put a link to Paula Plunder's video that got back up and running so that you guys can watch it if you haven't yet. But yeah. Oh, it's just such a shady business that Rourke and his wife think that they can come out onto the streets of YouTube and kick everyone in the rear end and get people to quit talking about NK. Leave NK alone. I mean, they sounded so much like NK when she was saying, leave Jim alone. It was almost laughable, except for that they were serious. Like, they're like, oh, NK's just a victim. It's like, yeah. I mean, if you're going to say that, you could say Chris Watts was a victim. And I'm not saying that Chris Watts was a victim, but if you're going to say that she was his victim, I think it's more realistic that he was her victim, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, the point is that Plunder's video is back up, and I'm so excited for her. And then the one by the channel whose name I always forget, Behind Criminal Minds. I got it. I don't even have it written down in front of me. Um, so the video that they put up yesterday or the day before, that's slightly over 2 hours long, I think that that's a new video. I don't think it's the same video as the one that they took down, but it could be that they covered a lot of the same material. That's what I'm thinking. And I've already watched it twice, so I don't think I'm going to have time to watch it again. But that's kind of what I've discerned and what I've figured out. So if you're interested in all that crap that Rourke and his wife Kimberly, all the smack that they were talking, not just about the Watts case, but about everybody who is interested in true crime, everybody who thinks that NK is guilty. And if they don't think she's guilty, then they're not the sharpest tools in the shed. I would say tools, yes, but not sharp ones. Anyway, moving right along. So Mark Molina did a great video today. Oh, hey, you guys, let's see, a couple more people came in. Watching you and Mrs. G at the same time, LOL. That's so sweet. I hate going on when Mrs. G is on. Honestly, I love her. I do. Like, I could sit on YouTube with her all day long, but then I would never get my own videos made. I'd never get my yoga done, and I'd never watch any other videos. So I love what she's doing. I'm in 100% full support. And I know Shan said she was going to go on live at 9 o'clock too. So I'm sure I'm going to go way past 9, and then I'll probably watch hers, but I don't want to distract from those other content creators. Like, this is the problem. It's a good problem to have. The problem of having a bunch of content creators that are all supporting each other and friends and very productive, right? I mean, it's hard to make that choice to make your own video when you want to watch your friends' videos live, but you can always catch them on the replay, right? So, and Diane also, yeah, I can do two easily because I can watch something on my cell phone and something on my laptop. I'm sure some of us can do more than two, but I'd prefer to watch one at a time because it does get my brain a little bit nutty. Just like I prefer to watch things at regular speed, because some things you can watch at double speed or speed and a half and it's okay. Other things you can't. I can't. Like, I could never listen to myself on double speed because I sound like double speed right now. And same with Shan. I don't think I could ever listen to her on double speed because she always sounds like she's on double speed. But there are certain channels that I can, if I can't take them at double speed, I can usually take them at time and a half or even 1.25. So that was a little trick I learned from my mentors, right? I was talking about the mentors yesterday. Oh, and What's the Obsession put up a video yesterday that you guys were talking about, the one where she was looking at the Idaho 4 case with more criticism of the law enforcement than I've seen her have before. And I was really glad to see her have that criticism because, yeah, I wish that I could just take law enforcement at face value. I wish I could take the DA Rourke at face value, but I've learned in my own life, my own professional life, and on YouTube that you've got to pay attention. If these people are sounding ridiculous, pay attention to that. That's your, trust your gut. If your gut says they're insane, then to you, they're insane, and that's your opinion, and you're welcome to have your own opinion, right? I don't think I could do 3 at once, though. Yes, moms first always. I wouldn't even want to try it because 2 at once is not really my favorite thing. I prefer 1 at a time on regular speed, maybe at 1.25. But yeah, and it's great to watch people's lives. I like to be there live to say hi and all that stuff. But then that's stressful too when you're trying to keep up with the chat and keep up with the live. I mean, it's not just stressful for the content creator, it's stressful for all of us, right? But these are good problems to have. Like, that, it's fun. It keeps you on your toes. And this is one of the reasons why I love being a content creator, because it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me thinking, trying to stay a step ahead of myself. and just pushing myself, which I've told you guys again and again. I love a challenge. I do. But I also like to chill. Okay. So, yes. Hello, everybody. Let me go ahead and put Michael McAllister in the highlight. Nice to see you guys. And I'm so sorry about your friends, Michael, that you were talking about last night. That's just heartbreaking. Okay, so Mark Molina was talking about the deception detective. And so it sounds to me like people had asked him to review Kylie Rodney's case, and he reviewed like 5 minutes of Sammy, and he said, yeah, she gets the seal of approval. She's awesome. She's a hero. Whoa. Okay. So maybe he has friends in Truckee. I don't know. I have no idea who he is. I really have no interest in figuring out who he is, but not to be too condescending. I just think that's crazy. I mean, we all know that Scammy is a huge effing liar, that she knows what happened to Kylie. She's very likely the cause of what happened to Kylie. And we also know that Kylie's mother is a huge freaking liar. So creepy. Very creepy to me that this DD channel would try to come out and say, oh, yeah, she checks out. She's all good. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Move right along. He must be friends with the Gray channel or something, right? Anyway, I don't really care. I know from all the information that I've combed through again and again, I know that Sammy has everything to do with Kylie's disappearance. I have her completely. I mean, come on. You don't even have to analyze that, do you? And then Lindsay, I was going to break down some of what she said, but I just want to say off the top of my head, one of the most pointed things that she said that for me is I can kind of parallel it to my father saying that he'd never heard of carbon monoxide, was when she was describing how she woke up in the morning and she realized that Kylie hadn't waken her up, and she was running around the house and looking out the window and her car wasn't there. And then she reached for her phone and she stops herself and she thinks for a second and she says, oh, I'm sorry, I grabbed my phone. And the way she says it to me sounds like that was the first thing she did when she woke up, that she reached for her phone. Isn't that what most of us do when we wake up? And especially if we wake up and think, oh, whoa, I fell asleep and my kid was at that party and they were supposed to wake me up and I don't remember them waking me up. So she told it out of order, and she was very controlled and contrived while she was telling the story, and she kept correcting herself and she kept stopping and concentrating. And yeah, you could attribute that to the stress of the situation that she's in. I think people tried to give Chris Watts the benefit of the doubt with his porch service sermon that, you know, he was nervous and that he sounded suspicious, but maybe it's just because he's not good talking in front of a camera. I mean, really, these people would be much smarter to not talk to the camera. Even the mother could not talk to the camera. The mother could say, no, thank you. I mean, if you're grieving in a situation like that, I don't think most parents would talk to an investigative journalist for the news. I mean, but then again, if you think your kid is out there somewhere and you want to plead with any would-be abductors to bring your person home, then yeah, you definitely want to put that out on the airwaves. So I'll go over some more of that in detail, but basically, as far as detecting deception, so there's a lot of just tools that you can have in your toolkit to help you learn how to pay attention to when people are lying. So trying to think of some of the easy things that when people say and like and are trying to buy time and are getting off topic. For instance, Lindsay does this when she keeps saying that Kylie was a great musician and Kylie loved children, and she keeps catching herself speaking in the past tense, and she keeps correcting it, and then she goes overboard, and then she's just talking about what a great kid she was and what a great teenager she was and how all of the great qualities of a teenage girl, she had every single one of those. Like, she's talking about her daughter in a very general sense, and that to me is like she's just throwing in the word salad to try to cover what she just said. And it makes me think of something Shan told me, that she calls it like a cat in the cat box trying to cover up what they said with all this word salad, basically. So there's a lot of that with Lindsay. And Martin Decoder is a linguist that has a YouTube channel who I really admire. I don't agree with him on every point and every person that he analyzes their deceptive features in speaking. And I don't think he's ever done Kylie Rodney's case. I don't think he's ever done Sammy. I'll continue to dig to see if I can find anything. But I think I had sent him an email like a year ago asking him to. He would be great. And I think he would be fair too. I don't think he'd be just talking out of his rear end. This DD channel reminds me of when the Interview Room did that whole thing with their panel of deception detectors. And, you know, we don't need to be highly skilled and trained by the FBI to trust our instinct and know when we see BS that we can call BS. I mean, sometimes it's challenging, but you know, just trust yourself. That's the best advice I have, really. Pay attention and trust yourself. You know, when people are confabulating, they will often start sentences and not finish sentences. And then there's the whole thing with like spacing out. What were we talking about again? Like NK does that a lot. And then just saying how she's so tired and she can't remember. The I can't remember is a classic giveaway that somebody is snowing you. I can't remember. Or I was asleep. Like the sleepy alibi, we've got that in the Kylie Rodney case. All those kids at that party were so tired they all had to go into their car and take naps, including Kylie. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what kids do. They get tired at 12:30 and they just poop out, take a nap, try to get a second wind. No. I mean, maybe at 6 a.m, but anyway, you know, in Kansas City, the guy with the 3 deceased friends in his backyard tried to use the same excuse. He was sleeping. Like, oh, okay, you were sleeping. Nap time, right? And so I guess it's reported in the news today that he admitted himself to rehab, which seems like a wise thing, but what took him so long? I mean, that was a couple weeks ago that he found out that a bunch of people that he had over were frozen in his backyard. And it takes him 2 weeks to realize that he needs professional help. I mean, I'm going to be suspicious and guess that he's just doing that to hide from the media, to hide from people trying to interview him, to hide behind the HIPAA laws. Because once you admit yourself like to a psychiatric facility or even to a medical facility, nobody can touch you. So that's essentially what he's done. So I don't trust that he's trying to straighten his life out, because if he was sincere, wouldn't he have done that like a day or two after this horrible tragedy? Mark Molina, you're not late. You're right on time. Nothing she said came out without having to backpedal. And she was a hero only for the fact Everyone look at her and knew something was really wrong. Right. She was a hero in my eyes because she kept talking. So she kept like saying too much, and that was great. Like, keep talking. Um, they think that they can talk more and cover more, but what they end up doing is revealing more and more. So Mark, you had a great 1 hour live today that I caught on the replay, so thank you for that. Really, really good. And let's see, the Idaho case with um, Kelly from Watts the Obsession, kind of changing her tune, not completely, but getting more suspicious of the person who wrote the PCA and how the PCA is written. Also, Christina Randall is coming from that same place. So both of those content creators, I wouldn't say that they are at all thinking that Koberger didn't do it, but they're realizing that there's a lot of effery going on. And I'm grateful for that. I honestly don't have a clue if he did it or not, or if he was involved or not. But my spidey senses tell me that if he had any involvement, it was from a fellowship that he got hired for with the Pullman PD, and that he thought he was just doing his job, and that's the involvement that he had, possibly. That's just me. You know me. I'm always up to my conspiracy theories. So let's go into a little bit more detail about the breaking down Lindsay's speech with that ninja video. I mean, she keeps pumping out great ones, but I'm really focused on that one with Lindsay, the one that's called Worried. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all your support. You do such great work. You really do. Just keep being you. That's the best thing. So in that 22, I think it's about a 22 or 23-minute video that Ninja did, it's around the 3-minute mark that Lindsay says that she's tired, but she's doing okay, and she smiles. And right there, that's so suspicious to me. You're on camera because your daughter's missing. You would be devastated. You'd be more than tired. You'd be like strung out. You'd be not doing okay. You'd be the furthest thing from okay. And I don't think that smiling would be a part of it. It's just so weird. Like, there's no urgency. There's zero urgency in those interviews. And then this I thought was really weird. The more I listened to it, and again, sometimes when you listen to things too many times or you look at things too many times, it can kind of get wonky. So you got to be careful with that. But the way Lindsay claimed that Kylie said that she was planning on leaving at about 12:15. First of all, she didn't say that she spoke with Kylie that night. She said that they were texting, and that she said that she was planning on leaving at about 12:15. So I don't know. Now that I'm saying it again and again, I'm thinking, okay, that's nothing. Anyway, so I think what one of the most significant points was when the interviewer, and I spoke about this a couple days ago, when the interviewer asked her what her mother's instinct, what her intuition told her about what had happened. And she starts out by saying that she's going to trust the law enforcement. She's going to trust the teenagers, that she's not trained in how to find a missing kid. And she doesn't have the skills that it takes to talk to these people who were there to find out what they know. So in everything she's saying, to me, my takeaway is that she knows that the kids know something. She knows that she needs to talk to them to find out what they know, but she's saying that she's not going to do it. And that she's going to basically like just give them the space, the time, and the respect to take care of it themselves, the police and the teenagers. And she doesn't have to have any involvement. And that's just crazy talk, absolute crazy talk. But she never answers the question about, what does your mother's instinct or intuition tell you about what happened to your daughter? And that's a very direct question. And that's a very reasonable question. And she not only doesn't answer it, she like hightails it from that question, in my estimation. And let's see. It's at the 18-minute 54-second part of that video where she talks about law enforcement. Her and the interviewer are talking about law enforcement and her, that they're all very hopeful that there's a specific group of teens that are looking for Kylie. And again, to me, that gives it away. So what they're saying, reading between the lines, is that there's a specific group of teens who would be most likely the ones to be able to find her. And that they're excited that that specific group of teens says that they're going to look for her. And then a minute later, at the 19-minute 45-second mark, when Lindsay says like how amazing these kids are and how it's so scary to face this head on, and they're doing so like champions. And the way she says it is like, hold on, I need to drink a little bit real quick. I need to choke on, I forgot it was seltzer water. I was thinking it was regular water. So scary to face this head on, and they're doing so like champions. Just too weird. Like, so scary to face what head on? Like, you're facing that your friend is missing head on? I don't know. That doesn't add up to me. That doesn't make sense. They're so very, very courageous, and the law enforcement is so very, very transparent. Like, have you guys noticed this in life, that a lot of times people will say things to try to convince you when they're the furthest thing from the truth? Like, I remember 20 years ago in Seattle, I was interviewing with some extremely wealthy people who wanted to hire me to do a very private job for them that I won't disclose. But the thing that they said to me that was a red flag right away, and I went ahead and accepted their job offer anyway, and it only lasted for a month, was they said that they respect all of their employees a great deal. So they had all kinds of employees. Like the dad was like a world-class surgeon. The mom was the daughter of a Texas judge, and she was a lawyer, and they were extremely wealthy. They lived right next door to Bono from U2. And yeah, just weird. Not right next door. So I'm not giving away too much information. He had a lot of neighbors, right? Bono did. Anyway, when they said we have a great deal of respect for all of our employees, I'm thinking, well, of course you do. If you have a lot of employees, you have to have respect for them because you're trusting them. They're working with you. They're doing things for you. It's sort of like, you hear about Hollywood personalities who have a lot of staff in their homes, but no one in the home is allowed, none of the staff is allowed to acknowledge them, say hello, or make eye contact. Have you guys ever heard those types of stories? It's weird. So when people say something like that, like, I have a lot of respect for my employees where, it's a mutually respect sharing experience when you are an employee and an employer. So, anyway, I'm just like stumbling all over my words, aren't I? But in talking about how law enforcement is being so very, very, very transparent, and these kids are so very, very, very courageous. And Kylie was so very, very smart, is so very, very smart, is so very, very funny. And, she just keeps doing it. She just keeps on with the past tense. And elitism. Yes. Let's see. I missed a whole bunch. Let me catch up with you guys. Yes, Mark. Oh, I'm so glad I went back to this. I missed a whole bunch. Okay. Lindsay accent ta ninja rocks. Not Lindsay. No urgency or emotion from anyone but Grandpa. Who texted might not be Kylie. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Mark. When the interviewer asked her, is this a typical text to get from Kylie? The thing about her planning on leaving the party at 12:15. She says, "Oh yes, I get this text from her all the time." And it's like the overselling it. That's a red flag. That is definitely a red flag. So it really makes me think that she's covering for the person who texted her that wasn't her daughter. And yeah, that's purely me and my speculation and my suspicion. So I will own that. Um, and Mom First says, Mark, your fan club is here. Yeah, Mark, you're doing a great job. You're really humble, and that's a great thing, right? Um, Thanks, all this jazz club time. Jazz is more awesome, in my opinion. You're too nice. Stop it. Does that mean the teenagers were trained? She avoided it for sure, but why? Nana, I'm really interested in what you're saying there. That question that you're asking, does that mean the teenagers were trained? MC Ultra talks about how everybody, all of the truckinees are trained to, just stop and drop when they're drunk so that they don't drunk drive home, right? And she uses that word, we're all trained. And she's like, whoa, why not just say programmed? We're all pre-programmed. It's weird, in my opinion. Um, she can't answer because she knows and doesn't know how to answer. I like that, Mark. And so you're talking about what does your mother's instinct and intuition tell you? Um, that's a really good answer. Mark says vodka. What's vodka? Um, Yes, Jazz. That is what I was thinking watching DD, the other four guys doing their review. Well, so I don't know any of these people. I really don't. I don't know the ones that were on the interview room. I don't know this DD one, but they sound like they might be influenced by the people that are involved in the situation. Like the Hamburglers, they've got very deep pockets, a very far reach, not the kind of people that you want to cross. I mean, I don't care if I cross them, but if I was a really big channel that was just wanting to get all the clicks and views and likes that I possibly could, if that was my game, then yeah, I wouldn't want to piss them off. But that's not my game, and I don't care if I piss them off. Quite frankly, I mean, why would they be pissed off if I'm just asking questions and looking for the truth? Why would that piss anybody off? It certainly pissed off that Slim Sadie that showed up in my comments the other day, and I went back and looked and just thought it was so funny. Like, they just keep having to get the last word. So I allowed them to have the last word. I'm just like, yeah, I didn't even read their last comment. It was like a mile long, and it said something to the effect of how I must have been triggered by their comment or something like that. And I was just like, okay. Um, I don't think I was triggered by it, but I was trying to use it. You know, a lot of times I think the trolls give us an opportunity for a learning experience. So if we just get annoyed and mad and snarky or delete them, we're missing an opportunity to educate ourselves and maybe educate other people. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to interact with them and have some discourse. And, you know, not that I think that they're going to learn how to not be trolls, but, you know, I'm willing to entertain their troll ideas for a minute. I think it's a healthy thing to do sometimes when you're in the mood. Other times you're just not in the mood and you're just like delete, delete, delete. I try not to delete people's comments ever. I mean, I really do. I, I mean, if they're lewd, I think that YouTube will delete them, so I don't have to worry about that. But you know, if people are just being rude, I just try to skip over it and just let it go. I just try to tolerate it. I think it's important. I was going to share something with you guys. It's on the other side of the room. I was going to share some of my yoga stuff with you. Are you into that? If you're not, then you can go over to Shan's video because she'll be talking true crime. I think I'm going to shift gears and talk about yoga a little bit. Oh, I love that. Let's see. Your drink, not vodka, it's seltzer water. Right. It could be vodka, and that's why I was choking because I thought it was water, but it was vodka. I usually just have plain water when I'm on live, but sometimes I have my veggie juice and sometimes sparkling water. So tonight it's a lime sparkling water. Um, so let's see. Cash, you're playing it safe on DD. Yeah, I think the cash probably. Not that they're paid off. I'm not accusing anybody of being bribed. I'm saying that they don't want to burn a bridge with somebody like a hamburglar. I mean, if you're all about the money, of course you're not going to want to burn a bridge with somebody like that. Um, and Sunset says you're kind. Do you mean to tolerate the trolls? I mean, I think that when you have a channel, it's just something that you know, it goes with the territory. Yoga time, dancing dragon. Okay. So I'm going to grab something real quick. And if you want to try to find the Tabasco bottle while I'm grabbing something, if you can find the Tabasco bottle, you can win yourself a Justice A to Z hat. So, did anybody find it? Oh, sorry, I'm going to knock over my computer. Okay, so I was going to read to you the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, you guys. Is that something that interests you? I was also going to read to you. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, I've got so much stuff that I've been studying. It's crazy. It's such an uphill battle, but I do love it. I really do. Hold on. I wasn't sure about sharing this with you guys. If I can't find it, then I won't. I'll just share the 5 Tibetan rites. The history of yoga. Let's see the different styles of yoga. Yeah, I think I'll have to save that other thing for the next time. I don't think I can find it right now. Still, I've been building my class, my master class, and I'm shifting gears. I'm turning a corner, so that's exciting. Okay, so the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation. That's what I'm going to read to you. And it's 5 exercises, and I'll hold them up and show it to you as well because it's kind of tricky to understand. But if you do these 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation, like once a day, but you do them a few times, So I'll start with explaining what this one is. That is the first exercise. Extend arms out to the sides, palms down, relax shoulders, and bring arms in line with shoulders. Turn in place in a clockwise direction. Focus your vision on a single point straight ahead to avoid dizziness. So, you guys follow? It's like, so you have your arms out and you're turning your body clockwise and you're looking at one point and you're turning your head like 180 degrees so that you don't get dizzy. But you're spinning basically, but you do that thing with your head so that you don't get dizzy. It's kind of annoying, but it's kind of cool when you master it. So after each of these exercises, and you do all of them a repetition of 3 to 5 times, and you keep adding to that until you get up to, you're going to love this, 21 repetitions of each exercise. I'm nowhere near that. I'm like at 6. For best results, perform daily. And I've been bad. I haven't been doing them daily, but I try. Okay. So after the exercise, take 3 deep breaths. Of course, yoga, it's all about breath work, right? Hey, Poise the Noise. Welcome. And then when you're taking your deep breaths with your hands together, raise your arms overhead on the inhale, exhaling, lowering arms down to the sides. Second exercise. So these are the 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation. So doing these is supposed to extend your life. It's that simple. And you can Google it, right? The 5 Tibetan rites of rejuvenation. So the second exercise, lay flat with arms extended alongside the body or under your bottom, palms down. Breathe in through the nose and raise your head off the floor. At the same time, lift legs off the ground, keeping legs straight. Exhaling, lower head and legs back down, keeping legs straight as you go down. Relax muscles for a moment and then repeat. Once you complete, then take 3 deep breaths while laying flat with your hands placed over your lower abdomen. So you're laying flat. That's the corpse pose, right? And then you're kind of doing like a jackknife kind of thing. So it's to strengthen your core. Third exercise. This one's kind of tricky. Do you see it over here? Kneel with knees under the hips and toes tucked under. Hands can support the low back. Breathing out, lower chin towards your chest. Breathing in, arch your back, dropping your head back. Hands on your bottom or thighs for support. When complete, take 3 deep breaths while kneeling or laying flat. Hands over your lower abdomen. So that's the movement, is just your torso. So you're just on your knees and you're just leaning your head forward and then all the way back. So fourth exercise, this one's super tricky. Sit with legs extended in front of you. Can you see that? So it's these two. Sit with legs extended in front of you, feet hip width apart. Palms are placed alongside body, fingers pointing forward. Breathe out and tuck chin in toward chest while slowly breathing in. Raise torso, slide buttocks forward, and then lift up the hips off the ground and drop head back. While holding position, hold breath and tighten every muscle in the body. Breathing out, slowly lower back down to starting position. Rest a moment and then repeat. When complete, lie flat and take 3 deep breaths to relax. So do you see that movement? It looks much harder than it actually is. When you look at these 2 positions, you're like, wait, how do you get from here to here? But you're basically just pushing your bottom up, and that's how. So here's your last one, the 5th exercise. Start in table position. So table position is just on your hands and knees, with hands shoulder width apart and knees directly under hips. Inhaling, lift tailbone up and press heels down into an inverted V position. That's the inverted V position. It's also called downward dog. Chin tucks under toward chest, exhaling lower body forward and down like this. So you're going from the downward dog to what you might call like a cobra or something like that. You might call it an up dog. Let's see. Arch the back and tilt the head back to look up. Shoulders remain broad and toes are tucked under. When complete, lie flat and take 3 deep breaths to relax. So the first time I did these exercises, it seemed impossible. I'm just like, what the heck is this? But I keep doing it, and it makes a difference. It really does. Like, you can tell that it's doing something. So I encourage everyone to try it if you're interested. I don't want to push it on anyone, but I feel like, I think I shared this with you guys. I feel like yoga is a gift that you give yourself, just like taking a walk is a gift that you give yourself, or taking care of yourself is a gift that you give yourself. And then when you're doing something good for yourself, hopefully you'll inspire others to do something good for themselves. And when I started this teacher certification training, I really had no interest in teaching. I was just doing it to further my own practice. And then I've decided that I am very interested in teaching because I want to share that gift. If I know how to do it and I can help others figure out how to do it, it's something that anybody can do anytime, anywhere. And every single stretch that you do is important. And you don't have to like wear your yoga clothes. You don't have to get a yoga mat. You don't have to call it yoga. Just taking care of yourself, just stretching. And, you know, we all know that some of the best stretches are just your neck stretches. I've shared with you guys one of my absolute favorites that I've been learning through all this is called the eagle arms. And it's really easy. It might not be easy for some people, but you just put one elbow over the other and the palms of your hands flat together. And then you push your elbows up, and you can even look up. And what it does is it really releases the shoulder muscle. So I always have tight shoulders, and eagle arms is amazing for it. You can do eagle legs too. Eagle legs is much, much harder, and it's not going to stretch your upper back, but it kind of stretches your hips. So that's all for my yoga instruction for tonight. Any questions? So I'm thinking we should wrap up and head over to Shan's if you guys aren't on 2 devices and already there. I think that's probably what I will do. Oh, did you find the bottle, Mark? Did you find it? Because I want to send you that hat. It is behind me, and it is, I can't tell you. You have to tell me. But yeah, it is somewhere in the area of the house mouse. Didn't find. Oh, I'll just tell you guys because it's kind of dark. It's hard to see it. It was easier where I had it before. Here, if I shine the little light on it, then you can see it. Da-da. There's the house mouse. There's the bottle, and there's those 3D printed kitty cats there that my son made. I have them kind of leaning up against the house and covering 2 of the doors for the mouses. So I've showed you guys these things before. The kitty cats are a cell phone holder. Check that out. So you put them together and you put them on a table, and then you got your cell phone. So the other thing that you guys haven't seen in a long time, where did it go? Is the armadillo. I can't believe this kid makes this stuff. So this armadillo, you guys, it's 3D printed, and it's 3D printed like this. Like, you don't put it together, it prints like this. And it's so freaking cool. I mean, he's got a ton of cool stuff, but these are just a few things that he gave to me. So, da-da. Is that the niftiest thing? He's a pretty crazy little mad scientist genius kid, right? So, yeah. I couldn't believe it when he wanted a 3D printer. I'm like, are you insane? Do you know how expensive that is? But, he's spoiled. I mean, he has a job and stuff, but he has very expensive equipment too that, I guess he'll take care of us when we're old, right? Isn't that the way it works? So, all right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I appreciate you being here. 3D genius. That's cute. Yeah, he's very clever. So, and I think I told you guys he's 16 and he got his first like real job at a mechanic. So he's now an auto mechanic at 16. Is that way cool? So he can like fix your brakes and change your oil and stuff like that. And he's just a clever little rat. My kids are all rats. I say that with affection. I'm a rat mama. My rat babies. So it's a term of endearment. So you guys, I'm going to sign off. I am just so happy to see you tonight and see you over at Shan's possibly if you're there and I'm there. We'll all be there together, hanging out, talking Kylie. Have a fabulous night. Take really good care of yourself as always. Make sure you drink your water, eat your protein, veggies, and just take it easy and just be yourself, and don't let the turkeys get you down, because there's always going to be turkeys and they will always try to get you down. And what you going to do? Just keep doing your own thing. I am going to remind myself to show you the thumb again. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do. What else? And sending you light, sending you love. See you on the flip side. Thank you so much for joining me. Light and love. See you soon.